class about identity, security, and privacy in the IoT era. And so I ask for your attention, your attention, and warm welcome, Gregory.
Thank you. Okay. How do you say? Sorry.
You can start.
Yeah, that's okay. Yes. Well, the focus of my talk will be one of the most beautiful field of application in the IoT, the well-known home automation. I won't talk much about MQTT, as you may have seen the talk by Dominique early this morning. So, MQTT is a widely used protocol for home automation because it is based on a publisher-subscriber mechanism. It uses the broker to transfer message from device to other devices or your application. And this is a well-done protocol for home automation, as you can add security the more you go close to the internet, the more you can add security. Well, let's start with a simple user story. Let's say we want to add some sensors as well as some commands to our home. For instance, we can use a sensor for temperature stuff, or outside humidity, command for opening your garage door or getting the status of your garage door, open or closed. And in our simple application, we'll use all these devices and sensors connected to one single broker that will be itself connected to the internet. So, you may wonder at the beginning what are the privacy requirements and what you want to do with your data. Some of this data may be available to anyone. For instance, the humidity of my or outside my house, my garden, may be collected by weather forecast companies in order to improve their forecasts. Some other sets of data may be used by a restricted set of people. For instance, if I'm on vacation for 1,000 miles away from my home, if my neighbor can get an alert whenever my garage door is open, as it is not supposed to be, as I'm not here, so he can check and see if no one is trying to steal things in my house. And for comments, well, if someone breaks into my system and raises the temperature of my radiator, it isn't very harmful. However, if someone can remotely open my garage door when I'm not here, I become a bit scared. So, for this kind of use, you have to improve the security of your system. Okay, so let's start from the idea that you have done everything you needed, connected with Arduino or Raspberry Pis or whatever, the sensor to a broker, and then, okay, let's put it on the internet. Let's purchase a domain name with a certificate, and let's secure the whole thing with TLS. For some systems, add security with a login and password. Very nice. Or if you want to be more serious about security, you can use a TLS certificates, client certificates to perform better authentication. Well, if I wanted to talk about this, I'm sure we wouldn't be there to talk about such a simple thing. So, what are the concerns about this kind of solution? Well, DNS and TLS are the roots of what we're using day to day on a daily basis to access our social or email, our favorite social network, even our online banking and check our accounts, mail, fund transfer, this kind of stuff. But this last month, I'd say these last years, all this infrastructure has been prone to many issues. Issues with DNS. Those are the most common ones because DNS is a weak protocol. It's a UTP, it's a Vertex, it's easy to spoof and poison cache, this kind of stuff. And for TLS, well, it has been mostly those last months put into the light because of implementation issues and marketing of 0 days, like the outbleed weakness or the poodle one. There have been some kind of abuse in TLS. For example, the Lenovo laptops that were bundled with a malware called Superfish that added a self-signed certificate into the chain of certificate to block the whole TLS security. And then there are some things related to cryptography. I'm not a cryptographer. If you have some time and can be accompanied with someone that is good at math, I recommend reading the latest article, which shows how you can poison a certificate, so you can guess the private key. That's a bit scary. And back to DNS, there have been some abuse by governments, such as during the war in Syria, where people were tagging 8.8.8 on the walls to make sure that people use Google's DNS instead of local government DNS. And this is sad. This is sad because, well, I thought it was restricted to the bad guy, but it's coming here and now in France, my home country, and I feel quite sad about this. Well, what is the main issue with DNS and TLS? That's the hierarchical trust model. You have to trust roots that delegate some trust part of the work to companies or governments. It's like we have a tree, a chain of trust that we must trust ourselves. However, things have changed these last years, especially with Bitcoin and the concept of blockchain. Blockchain is it's a kind of ledger. It stores all the transactions in the Bitcoin system, all the transactions sent and received from wallets, and the blockchain integrity is guaranteed by the network itself. Well, explaining how it works would last way too long, but what's more interesting is to know why it works. It works because, like BitTorrent, most people using Bitcoin, most people using the blockchain, they are enforcing its integrity. In fact, the roots of the system is not a chain of trust going from top to down, but trustless, a fully trusted distributed environment. You have to trust nobody to make the system work. It works because everyone nobody can resist the idea of getting money for nothing. Just run your Bitcoin client and with the start calculation and transaction verification or mining, and then you will get a reward just by doing this. And of course, there are possibilities that someone gains more than 50% of the computational power of the whole network, but the more people you add to the system, the harder it gets difficult for an attacker to gain control of the system. And especially in the case of Bitcoin, it might be more rewarding for a pirate or an attacker to endorse the system by using its computational power to gain more money instead of trying to screw up the whole system. So, this is not very kind to us, to the mankind, because in fact you have trust on one side. Trust is something that you will always be disappointed with, because you trust somebody or someone, and the only thing that can happen is that you get betrayed. However, greed is shared by anyone. So, in this case, the only thing that you can imagine about greed is that some people are more greedy than others, but that's fine, because everyone is a bit greedy. Okay, that looks fine. We have a system that might be a good candidate, a technical solution, but who cares? In fact, in the beginning of 2015, IBM and Samsung really added to the autonomous decentralized peer-to-peer chain. Well, it's not the best acronym in the world, but it works. And it used a set of technology that has been put to the light these last months of the year. Ethereum, I think we have people from Ethereum that will do a talk later in the evening. TVH and BitTorrent. That's really funny because 8 months ago I did the very same thing, or I should say maybe IBM itself did the very same thing that I did in April 2014. It's called Mosquito Twister, Mosquito being a broker that is quite popular in the MQTT space, and Twister, which is a kind of Twitter, but a fully decentralized Twitter. Twister, in fact, does 90% the job in this proof of concept. It uses a blockchain to register user handles. In the case of Twitter, for instance, you have to register into the site twitter.com, select a handle, the system checks if the handle is available, and if it's okay, you get the handle back. If Twitter decides that your handle is offensive or wants to perform some censorship, you are left with nothing. That's the issue with centralized system. Then you have for all the data it borrows its storage routes into the BitTorrent protocols using swarms. Swarms are sets of users of BitTorrent that are responsible, more or less, for keeping data shared and replicated, so that an attack on a network doesn't lead to a loss of data. And then you have the DHT, distributed hash table, which has been used in BitTorrent when there have been some attacks on the trackers. Trackers in the BitTorrent protocol or the way the BitTorrent works are used to seed the data for file download. And there were points of failure, because if you attack the site, at all the tracker, then you could put a part of the network down. But with DHT, every single, all the tracker information is shared between the network. And it prevents the need to have a centralized location for this information. That's why something like Napster, we had a single point of failure. So every protocol and technology used in this platform is So how does it apply to our MQTT system? Well, that's quite easy, because Twitter works in a pub-sub way, as MQTT does. So you publish some information, you subscribe to some information, and you can add security by checking if you want to exchange some private messages that both people are following themselves. So it maps quite easily, and it was really just a breeze to make the thing work. I encourage you to get to the project page. Just, in fact, there are two files. 200 lines of a bad Python code, and a README, which is more interesting because it describes all the setup and the relationships of all the piece of software that you have to do to put together to make this work. Okay, so technically it works, but there are some issues about the system. The first issue is not technical, it's a matter of interest in the platform. To gain attention, to make the network prone to attacks, you have to convince people to use this. So the main issue is the incentive. For cryptocurrency, this is easy because you get money. So it's a better incentive in the world, I guess. But in the case of Twitter, adding a block to the blockchain just rewards you with the ability to put an advertising message to the newly registered handle, which is thin at best. Then there are some implementation issues, especially the blockchain, because you have to perform the blockchain integrity. You have to store locally the whole blockchain, which is gigabytes in the case of Bitcoin. If you imagine a DNS system, it would be maybe a terabyte. And there have been some improvements in the protocol, like single payment verification, which does a part of the job, but doesn't help to enforce the integrity of the system. Now, a small word about cryptography. Cryptography is something that is well, this slide is a bit trolling. I don't know if there are cryptographers in the room, but in fact, what we use, TLS, TTLS, kind of stuff, rely on a single principle of cryptography, which is, well, this is difficult to factorize the number into prime numbers. But difficult is not a good measure. You can say, okay, in 1995, maybe it was enough to have 1000 bit key, and then we are now using 2000 bit key, and later and later. In fact, it's a race. It's a computational race against something that maybe could be broken from one day by some mathematician that find a solution to that prime number factorization.
Okay,
In fact, yes.
I have to say sorry, but the time is running.
Okay.
So how many slides?
Oh, I see. This is the last one.
Last one? Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay. The one-time pad in cryptography is something very, very simple. It is, I think, the only cryptography system that has been proven to be unbreakable. It's so easy that you can do it by hand, and works. It has been created by a banker. Here are some of the other subjects that take too long to fit in a talk. Why does a system like one-time pad works? It's about keeping the keys secret and not reusing them, because the more you use a key, the less it becomes secure. And that's all.
All right. Thank you, Gary. So, any questions? Please be free. Okay, so maybe just a bit. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Is anything implemented from these ideas, or are you actively following this?
Well, the project I mentioned on GitHub is functional. You can register through handles in the Twister platform and make tests of sending and receiving message from one part to another. So it works. However, I don't recommend using the Twister platform itself, because people are using it for as a Twitter alternative. So if you want to start using this platform, which is not which QTT and automation is not the primary goal, well, I don't think the guy behind the Twister will be very happy with this. However, IBM and Samsung have released the platform. It's a proof of concept, but maybe it will hit a larger scale, and then it will be really adapted for QTT or other protocols of the IoT transportation across internet. Yes?
Thanks for the talk. It was very interesting. But I see some limitations in using the blockchain. So one scalability. I mean, we have a few transactions per second. Maximum is the blockchain currently, and the other one is latency. So do you have anything possible?
The blockchain in this case is only used to replace the DNS. So it's not the blockchain itself doesn't store MQTT messages because it won't scale at all. It will be a huge mess. It's only for user information that is used, and the remaining parts of the system use a Bitcoin family of protocols, which, yes, that's true, are a bit at a slow start. Time that you send requests to the DHT to find the nodes that are able to contain the data that you want to access. But after this slow start, the latency is well, the speed is good, the latency not so much. So it depends much on the kind of application you want to do. Of course, for a temperature sensor, that will be send a few bytes every 10 seconds or so. It would be not very efficient. However, the larger the data you want to transport get large, then Bitcoin is a good compromise between if you accept an increased download and upload speed against latency. It should do the work. I think that's why Adept platform use something like TDH, which is good for this purpose because you have no latency. More
questions? Okay, then, yeah. Thank you very much.